In the more than 2 years that the oldest Anarchy game mode on Hypixel has been around, armor has played a huge role in the pit. Things began quite simply with the best armor being a chain helmet, iron leggings, and half diamond. After the Mystic update, pants became especially important. We've seen everything from invincibility to damage exploits to things straight out of hell. My name is Sudi, and welcome to an episode of Pit History. When the pit was first released in February of 2018, the best armor anyone could get was gained pretty simply. The bottom 3 diamond pieces could be bought in the item shop for the first 2 days of the game's release. After this, diamond leggings were removed. In the pit, players spawned with 2 chain pieces and an iron piece, without a helmet. After the removal of diamond leggings, the optimal defensive setup was to have iron leggings on top of half diamond. One of the perks in the permanent upgrade shop is called Safety First, which gives a chain helmet. This was the best possible armor until the update a few weeks later, in mid-March. The 0.3 update of the pit brought with it a few big changes. Major and minor events were added to the game, on top of an improved map that was very similar to the original one, but with more detail. The Care Package Minor event introduced Protection 1 Diamond Armor. Care Package loot includes small amounts of XP and gold. On top of this, there was a chance to get any number of diamond pieces, both enchanted and non-enchanted. It was even possible, though unlikely, to get a full set of Prot 1 and a sword in a single package. That only happened to me once, but you could bet I was super happy when it did. During those days, Prot 1 pieces were generally traded for 5,000 gold in bounty form, or any other piece. Some may have argued that Prot 1 pants weren't worth as much because of the Beast event, but that didn't affect things much. If you're wondering, the Beast event rewarded the person who ended the event with a Beast set. The diamond pants actually had Protection 1, which is why people doubted their worth. Beast didn't change things all that much though, but a few months later, Mini-Clune most definitely would. These full Prot 1 God sets were the meta until the 0.3.5 Mystic update of July 2018. The Mystic update introduced, as one might expect, Mystics. Mystics are items enchanted with custom abilities, such as extra kill rewards, extra damage or defense, or any number of cool perks. Mystics are gained randomly on kill if one has the Mysticism Renown perk unlocked. Mysticism 9 is required to enchant pants though, and that's what I'll be going over for the remainder of this video. Mystic pants had all sorts of enchantments. Many of them did not do what they were intended to, which led to some crazy stuff. Let's take the enchant Pit Blob, for example. Pit Blob seems harmless enough. On kill, a slime spawns which helps you out by killing other players. The more kills you get, the bigger and stronger the slime gets. For a few weeks in 2018, there was a slight deviation to what you may have expected. For one thing, there was no size limit to Pit Blob. Let me say that again. Pit Blob did not have a limit to how big it could get. On top of this, Minecraft itself has a glitch where slime hitboxes don't properly work after a certain size. An infamous hacker and scammer by the name of Arms of Spaghetti got his hands on a pair of Pit Blob 3 pants and terrorized the entire game. At this point in time, staying in spawn wouldn't actually remove your kill streak, and you could bet Arms abused that to its fullest. He went on streaks in the thousands of kills from spawn and got multiple prestiges in a few days. Connor Linfoot, an admin, was forced to temporarily disable this enchant while Mini-Clune worked on a fix. Pit Blob was nerfed to the ground after this and saw several balancing changes after it. This, however, wouldn't be the last time the pit would see Blob being abused to its fullest potential. No, that comes later. Like I said, the Mystic update led to some crazy stuff. Similar to Pit Blob, which was insane because it had an oversight, the enchantment Singularity was also godly because of an oversight. The mistake with Singularity was quite technical, and I can understand why it was overlooked. If you don't know, Singularity limits the maximum damage you can take in a single hit to a few hearts. This means if a hit deals 8 hearts of damage, you'll only take a few. However, this is not how it played out in reality. Every time you're hit, there are 2 types of damage. true damage, and actual damage. True damage is the health that would have been taken away had you not been wearing armor, and actual damage is what comes out after armor reduction is calculated. When coding Singularity, Minikloon made the enchantment activate before armor reduction. In Minecraft, a non-critical diamond sword hit deals about 4 hearts of damage. Because of Singularity, those 4 hearts would be reduced to 2, and then armor reduction would apply. With a diamond helmet, shop diamond, and mystic pants, players using Singularity would take a maximum of 1.1 health per hit, pretty much half a heart. This was especially overpowered when MC Panda duped and distributed his Singularity 2 revitalized 2 pants to our dupe group, which included myself. Unfortunately, only screenshots of old Singularity exist to my knowledge, including XX Mining Pro's insane Singularity 3s, but I can personally vouch that they were overpowered to say the least. Revitalize was also bugged, making Panda's pants the best thing in the game. Revitalize gives speed and regen when reaching 3 hearts, but again, true damage before armor reduction was at play. Revitalize would activate when the damage amount before armor reduction hit the player to 3 hearts. If I didn't really explain that, just know that Revitalize would proc at 7 hearts rather than 3, which meant it was very difficult to die, even if you were trying to. Panda told me that he would be in a box while streaking, and sometimes get up in the middle to go to the bathroom. When he came back, he continued playing as normal. In the fishing update a few days after Mystics, the line, "Nerf Singularity is ridiculous, half heart per hit," was placed in the less interesting bug fixes, but Singularity was still extremely broken. It wasn't really patched until weeks later in the pizza update, where the base numbers were buffed, but the armor reduction oversight was fixed. Minikloon didn't actually mention the bug fix, but MC Panda was sure to point it out to him. In the old days of Pit, the Phoenix enchant worked differently than it does now. Phoenix is an enchant which, on death, restores the user to full health, takes 1 life from the item, and gives a temporary, stackable damage bonus. Nowadays, Phoenix can only activate once per life, so it's not used very often. Back then, Phoenix had no usage cap, meaning a user could stay alive as long as their pants had lives left. This was especially powerful with the use of the double login account exploit. I've touched on this glitch multiple times in the past, so if you want to learn more, check out the video at the top of the description. Major Event and Automized would both load their inventories with Phoenix pants, drop down without any armor beside the pants, and let players kill them. After a few activations, their damage output would be crazy, and they could then use Billionaire 3 to kill their target in 1 or 2 hits. Remember, they had an infinite supply of Phoenix pants, so it was impossible to kill them. To my knowledge, only Automized and Major ever abused duped Phoenix like this, and this clip from Major is the only footage we have of it in action. Phoenix on its own wasn't overpowered because there's no way to repair lives at this point. That being said, it was still nerfed in the 0.4.1 Dark Pants update of May of 2018, where Minikloon gave a trigger limit of only once per life. After the patch of Singularity, the community turned to a new meta. Rather than defense, some players opted for mobility. In the pit right now, you can only hold a few Instaboom TNT at a time, and placing them in quick succession would do major damage to yourself. In the old days of Pit, 32 Instaboom was the max, and there was no damage. This meant it was possible, and very easy, to zip zap zop around the map to escape anyone. Bee hoppers, 5 hunters, anyone. Instaboom was a great enchantment because each level did the same thing, meaning even Instaboom 1 was good, so practically anyone could use it. Instaboom was later unrightfully nerfed in the 0.4.1 update, which was definitely unfortunate. Later on, Instaboom was used in association with a fly exploit, chiefly performed by Hazel.
I don't know why Hazel's insta-booming. Oh! What the fuck? Bro, she fucking did the way she turned on me.
I don't know exactly how this worked, but I'm assuming that the enchantment disabled watchdog movement checks so that people don't get banned for erratic movement. Because of this, flight could actually be used. During the reign of Instaboom, another enchantment emerged from obscurity. At its core, Peroxide is pretty simple. You get hit, you get regen. For a while, Peroxide 3 was all the rage, but it was later discovered that Peroxide 1 had some interesting qualities. Peroxide 1 grants regeneration 1 when the wearer gets hit, but a few players in August of 2018 discovered that it actually granted complete invincibility when in use with a Bruiser 3 sword. Bruiser is an enchantment which reduces the damage one takes by blocking the sword. I can't remember how I figured out this glitch, but I abused it a ton towards the later part of 2018. For a while, I was running around with an even lower life Bruiser sword, so I was trying to find another. As it turns out, Octagonal Paul had one, which I tried to buy. He happened to be recording and captured this clip in all of its glory.
Alright, got Sweetie here. Sweetie? Sooty? I don't know how to pronounce it. He's demonstrating me my own sword right now. I knew it was good. I didn't realize it was this good. Literally cannot do damage. That's insane.
Like most glitched items on this list, Peroxide 1 was patched, but you may be wondering how exactly it worked. Both levels 1 and 2 of Peroxide give regeneration 1, and in vanilla Minecraft, regeneration heals every 50 ticks, or 2.5 seconds. Because Peroxide 1 gives 5 seconds of the potion effect, the regen activates the moment you get hit, healing the user for half a heart of true health. When combined with Bruiser 3, which reduces damage taken to almost exactly half a heart per hit, the effect is insane. Of course this was patched, but that didn't stop people from abusing the next item on our list. Last Stand 3, like Peroxide, is an enchantment which gives a potion effect if a certain criteria is met. Realistically, Last Stand is a lot closer to Revitalize, the key difference being that Last Stand gives resistance rather than regeneration and speed. Just like Revitalize, Last Stand had the exact same glitch, where it would proc way too early. Resistance 3 reduces 60% of damage, and this reduction was almost constant. Additionally, there was no cooldown. This meant that wearing Last Stand 3 would give almost unlimited Resistance 3. As you can probably guess, it was really good. As shown by Major Event here, he couldn't die while fighting Katykon. Like many other pants on this list, Last Stand was patched in the 0.4.1 update. The Pit Blob enchantment has had a very strange history. As covered, it started out being extremely broken, then was disabled for a while, and then nerfed to the ground. Blob underwent several changes after that, but in the Dark Pants update, people took note of something interesting. For some reason, Blob 1, and only Blob 1, was completely invincible. The only way to kill a blob was to push it into the void. No one really knows what made level 1 Blob invincible, but like many things in the game mode, people didn't really care as long as they could abuse it. The only known footage, at least to me, of Blob 1 was taken by Major Event, where he abused a pair of Blob 1 Wolfpack 1 pants in a rage pit, where he got 12,000 damage, which was one of the highest scores at that point in the game. The Blob 1 glitch was used most effectively by dropping Blob in mid, building to spawn, and then AFKing for hours on end for free XP and gold. Blob was patched in the later months of 2019, not long before Critchwolf was discovered, and like I said, Blob has seen some strange history. It's been in and out of the meta and actually came back into use after the addition of the assistant to the Streaker perk. After the patch of Last Stand, there weren't many God Pants up until the 1.0 release of the game. Before that, people turned to Crit Funky 3 just because of its versatility. In a game mode where most hits during PvP are crits, and almost 100% of crits from B-hoppers are critical, Crit Funky became the meta. All the enchantment does is reduces the damage taken by critical hits, and it then empowers your next strike. Discounting Instaboom, because that isn't defensive, Crit Funky is actually the first time since the days of Prot where the meta of pants used is actually functioning correctly, and it wasn't broken due to some glitch. After this, several big changes occurred in the 1.0 full release of the pit, the main one being the addition of gems. Gems are a reward from the Overstreak, which allows a player to add one level to any non-rare enchantment on their item. Items can only be gemmed once, shown by the gem tag. For a while, there were ways to remove these tags, meaning items could be gemmed as many times as needed. It seemed that a change to the item would remove the tag, such as a change in lives or prestiging. In the patch about a week after 1.0, dying and prestiging would no longer remove the tag. Players soon found out that repairing the item with Withercraft actually would do the same thing, and thus a new era of items were born. Previously unattainable items had since become a necessity in a god set, such as Billionaire Lifesteals, Mega Longbow Sprint Drains, Volley Parasites. But this video is about pants. Some insane combinations were created with gemming, such as David and Goliath 3 Crit Funky 3 mirrors and Solitude 3 Crit Funky 3. The former being good for bounty hunting, and the latter being insane for literally any activities outside of mid. With double gemming also came the insane streaking items, such as max gold pants, which have every single gold enchantment at their most effective level. For XP, there are Sweaty 3 Crit Funky 3 mirrors, which are great for streaking with To the Moon, as Mirror 1 blocks the Mega Streak's true damage. These are some of the examples of the crazily overpowered pants created by the monster of an exploit that was double gemming. If someone found a way to remove the tags right now, it wouldn't take much effort for them to rise and become one of the richest players in this game mode. There's one enchantment in that list though that I neglected to mention, this one being glitched. This godly pant enchantment may seem familiar because it is. Peroxide 1 was initially patched in 2018, but somehow that patch got reverted with the 1.0 update. I swear, half the exploits in this game mode end up reverting or causing more issues down the line. We all know how many times Blob has been patched, changed, nerfed, buffed. The next time there's an update, I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly Singularity broke again. All you need to know is that Peroxide 1 was back, and this time it was so much more prevalent. It took Minikloon months to patch it, and by the time that happened, everyone and their mom had a pair with Bruiser 3. The double gemming exploit allowed players to create overpowered combinations with Peroxide 1, meaning a lot of times, Bruiser 3 wasn't even necessary. Combinations such as Solitude 3 Peroxide 1 or Crit Funky 3 Peroxide 1 were particularly nasty. Also, Rage Pit needs to calm down with these pants. Like, man, you're already unkillable. Why the hell do you need to go so overkill that it just becomes impossible? Actually, that isn't entirely true. Even something as insane as Crit Funky 3 Solitude 3 Peroxide 1, there is still a chink in Peroxide 1's armor, which didn't exist before. Dark Pants. Dark Pants completely ignore all mystic enchantments, meaning Pero 1 doesn't get triggered on hit. It became common occurrence to streak with an extra pair of Dark Pants just in case someone with Peroxide came along. Peroxide 1 was eventually patched in late August, but this time the patch was kind of strange. Pero 1 now has a 1 second cooldown, but fundamentally the effects are the same. That means you can completely block 1 hit per second. As it turns out, Peroxide 1 is still better than Peroxide 3. Now, that was this game mode's history of God Pants. I don't think I forgot to cover anything, but if I did, be sure to comment down below. If you're still around at this point and not subscribed, I would highly recommend it. And you can always unsubscribe later if my videos are clogging your feed. My goal is to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year, so it would be amazing if that happened. Anyway, if you guys have any cool video ideas or know of a topic I should cover, drop a comment down below. I read all the comments, but if you don't want to do that, you can DM me on Discord. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to Kalu for recording the background footage you're seeing, and Major for helping me collect old footage. Special thanks to Creechin for making these glorious thumbnails as well. Anyway, I've been your host Sudi, and as always, thanks for watching.